So, welcome back to the Indian MMA Hub. Today, we're joined by another upcoming professional MMA fighter. His name is Jyoti Kalita, and he belongs from Assam, Guwahati. Today, we're going to have a conversation with him and get to know a little more about him as we join him here at Crosstrain Fight Club. So, Jyoti, thank you so much for taking out the time. And as we begin our interview, the first thing that we'd like to ask you is to give us an introduction, your amateur record in MMA.
Hello David, nice to meet you. I am Jyoti Kalita. I am from Assam. I have been a MMA fighter since almost 6 to 7 years now. I have been doing it since 2017. Now it's 2024, so yeah, almost 7 years.
Right.
So I started out in Guwahati. I started training in Bidang MMA and fitness gym under Bhabajit Chaudhary, and most of my amateur fights also were when I was in Bidang.
Right.
So जब मैं बिदांग में था तभी most of my amateur fights happened. So मेरा amateur record is 22-6. Yeah, I have 6 losses and I have 22 wins till now.
Right.
फिर मैं बिदांग में 2017 से 2021 तक था. फिर after COVID 2022 में I came here in Delhi. I joined Crosstrain Fight Club, and since then, since the last 2 years, I have been training here.
Right. So, I mean, thank you so much for giving us that introduction, Jyoti. But one of the first questions that I have always with MMA fighters is that as all of us have some kind of inspiration whenever we figure out that this is something that we want to do. So, what was the first time when was the first time, do you remember, you watched an MMA fight or watched anything related to fighting? Do you remember? And what sort of memories do you have with that sort of situation?
So actually I was never interested in MMA because I never knew what MMA was.
Right.
So I randomly maybe in 2015 I came across MMA. I was watching I was switching channels in television.
Right.
So I just randomly came across an MMA fight. So I didn't understand what was happening. मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था. ये लोग किक्स मार रहे थे, पंचेस मार रहे थे, क्योंकि रियल फाइट में जो MMA में फाइट होता है तो बहुत ही टेक्निकल होता है. और हम लोग तो WWE देख रहे हैं, जॉन सीना इन लोगों को देख रहे हैं, तो ये लोग कैसे भी उठा के फेंक रहे हैं रिंग के बाहर. सो MMA फाइट मुझे तब उतना इंटरेस्टिंग लगता नहीं था, बिकॉज रियल फाइटिंग इज टेक्निकल. तो कभी कभी स्लो भी होता है. लोग एक दूसरे को ये करते हैं, जज करते हैं कि उसका टेक्निक क्या है, और अपने रिदम पे फाइट करते हैं. तो मुझे पहले इंटरेस्ट नहीं था. फिर 2017 में वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स introduced me to MMA. He said there is a really cool place that trains MMA. So he took me to Bidang for the first time. So I'm okay, let's see, let's try out this MMA stuff. So I went and I trained, and immediately after my first month or two, I was completely hooked. I was completely hooked into MMA. Then I knew what real fighting was. I was no more interested in WWE stuff.
Right.
This is MMA.
Yeah, I mean, because no offense to WWE fans, but yeah, I get it. Because even though they have a lot of technique in which they execute their stunts, it's not the same as fighting.
Yeah, you cannot compare it to
the
real
damage
fighting.
that is there is so different. Yeah, so that's what also I had. My next question was because we all know as guys, everyone wants to be able to sort of fight to a certain extent, or at least everyone thinks that they want to know how to fight, right? So when you started your amateur career, could you share some experiences where you learned a lesson the hard way, or learned a lesson which you because as you're coming up as a youngster, there's a lot of lessons that we learned.
Yeah.
So if there's any lesson that stays with you for a long time,
Yeah. Definitely. The first time I competed in MMA,
right.
I took my first loss in my third fight. It was a tournament organized. It's called Club War.
Okay.
It's an inter-club tournament. Among the same gym mates,
Right.
हमारे ही बीच में होता है.
जो train करते हैं
जिम ऑर्गेनाइज करता है. तो मेरा तीसरा लॉस वहीं पे था. तो उस समय मुझे कोई लेसन इतना मिला नहीं, बिकॉज मैं 6 सेकंड में टीके हो गया था. सो इट्स नथिंग. तुम अगर जल्दी नॉकआउट हो जाते हो तो तुम्हें इतना फील नहीं होता उस चीज़ का. तुम्हें लगता है कि फ्लूक था, इट वाज ए फ्लूक, यू कैन गेट बैक. So I was training. Then in 2019, I went to a tournament. It was called the Body Power.
Okay.
Body Power MMA tournament. So it was held in Mumbai. It was
Okay.
organized in Mumbai. So me and my friends went. So at that time, like my grappling was a little weak.
Right.
Before I came here, my grappling was like a little weak. My striking was good. So the opponent, like in my third fight, after winning 2 fights, my third fight I guess was for bronze. So in my third fight, the guy was a wrestler. So एक wrestler था. So my grappling was weak. He took me down multiple times across the span of 3 rounds. So in the late third round, like I was TKO'd.
Okay.
But like in that fight, I learned like what fighting really is, because I was mauled in that fight.
Right. You
Literally,
like went the distance for the first
Yeah.
time. Probably,
almost the distance. I was TKO'd
Right.
at the like almost at the end.
Yeah.
So like in that fight, I learned what like fighting could do to you, because like he took me to the ground and like he used to beat me up. Like he beat me up bad, and I couldn't get up also. So that was like I was the first time I was dominated, like completely one side domination, and after that like I have rarely been dominated in any fight. So that was one like experience, one lesson I learned, that doesn't matter how much you think you have improved, there is always room for improvement.
Right, for sure. Anyway, so yeah, so you mentioned you came to Crosstrain here, where we are present, in 2021 after COVID. So
I came in 2022. I
Okay.
came in April 2022.
okay.
COVID lasted for 2 years,
Yeah, okay, so immediately
2021,
after
and
you came
after just like the COVID fever was over, I came here.
Right. So that's what, like, so obviously Crosstrain is renowned as one of the most, decorated clubs in the country, fighting clubs. Anshul Jubli, Punyajit Lakharu, we have Jatin Chaudhary, your same batchmate Ketan, a lot of
Yeah.
MMA fighters here, fighters competing at the highest level. So could you like speak about how the environment is here and how that has helped you improve as an MMA fighter?
Yeah, the environment is really competitive here in Crosstrain, because like most of the people that come here, most of them, like 90% of them are fighters. They want to be pro fighters. They want to like do well in MFN, like be champions in MFN, and then go further in their careers, like join the UFC. And there is like the first Indian UFC fighter from our gym itself, this Anshul Jubli, like so. The talent that has been nurtured from here is like, you can say like it's very impressive. Like and then my teammates also, like Ketan and Jatin, I train with them on the regular basis, so they push me very hard in training, even though like they are a weight class below,
Yeah.
a couple of weight class below than me, but still like they push me to my limits. So yeah, it's good training here, because you get like both the grappling and the striking. Like there is a mix of like हर एक चीज़ का अच्छा मिक्स है, लाइक ग्रैपलिंग एंड स्ट्राइकिंग. स्ट्राइकर्स भी मिल जाएंगे तुमको. अगर तुमको ग्रैपलर्स के साथ भी ट्रेनिंग करनी है तो तुमको वो भी मिल जाएगा.
Of course, मतलब coach
Yeah.
Siddharth के under, like
Yeah.
I'm sure grappling is like at the peak level in this gym, so that must be always good. So, when was the first time you realized or accepted that this is something that you're going to do as a professional career? Like everybody, like there's a lot of guys who fight in the amateur ranks and then they go on to do another job and move on. Was there a moment you specifically accepted that, okay, bro, this is what I'm going to do. I'm ready to become a professional.
Yeah, actually, like I think like it was ingrained in me. Like the moment I started doing it, I didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
Like I can work very hard in this thing.
Right.
I can work like every day, Monday to Sunday. I can do this. There had been a time also, like when there was COVID.
Yeah.
In 2020, like that was the time I understood, like because the gyms were closed in 2020, 21, the gyms were mostly closed, so you couldn't train anywhere. Even at that time, like 2020 March, I think the COVID came,
Yeah,
and it lasted for around 8 months,
Yeah.
like the lockdown. Even during that time, I used to train twice a day,
Right.
like twice a day, 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening,
Right.
every day,
Right.
non-stop.
So there's never been a
Yeah,
plan B.
there is never been a time in my life like I haven't trained. So at that time I understood like this sport is for me, and I used to get results also. Like my amateur record also, I have very few losses, and I have never been like, only once or twice I have been dominated
Right.
by someone. Other than that, like there has been no domination, and all my losses, like
Right.
most of my losses that have come, I have sometimes I have fought like being a 70 kg fighter. Once I have fought against a 90 kg fighter also.
Right.
One of that fighter is in MFN. It's
Okay.
Daniel Damlong.
Okay.
I fought
okay.
against him.
All right.
My weight was 70 and his was like 86, 87.
Right, right,
I lost that fight, so
Right.
some losses were like that too. So I understood like I am made for this.
Right. So there is never a plan B. That's great to know, because I guess this is one of those professions where there should not be like
Yeah.
am I in or am I out, because
Yeah.
you could get really damaged and
Yeah.
suffer a lot of consequences for that.
I would say like if you are getting results, like if you are working hard but you are getting results, you could face a few setbacks. But
Right.
if mostly if you are getting results, then you
Stick
should
to it.
pursue.
Right.
You should pursue it. A
Alright.
few setbacks like shouldn't deter you.
Of course, that's what fighting is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So one thing that I have to congratulate you on is you have now received an MFN contract. You're going to be competing both in welterweight and the lightweight division, depending on what you feel comfortable. And this was a huge tournament through which you had to make your way. Like there was an MFN Contender Series tournament held in December 2023, and you had to fight, I believe, 3 to 4 times. So tell me your experience of competing at MFN Contender Series and the joy of receiving a contract as a pro in MFN.
Yeah, so like in India there aren't many pro organizations. ज़्यादा pro organizations है नहीं. MFN के अलावा like I don't think like कोई भी अच्छा like organizations as far as MFN जितना कोई अच्छा organization है नहीं इंडिया में. So जब MFN contract मुझे मिला तब like it was really something for me, because MFN contract मिलना मतलब like अब मतलब like I can fight at the bigger level. MFN like इंडिया का सबसे बिगेस्ट लेवल है MMA में, तो अब मैं लाइक उसमें फ़ाइट करने के लिए एलिजिबल हूँ. इतने लोग भी मुझे देखेंगे, पे चेक ये सब भी अच्छा होता है MFN का. वो अपना फाइटर्स का केयर भी बहुत अच्छा लेते, तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात थी लाइक जब MFN कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिला. तो हाँ, मुझे लाइक 4 फाइट्स जीतना पड़ा था MFN कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेने के लिए. लेकिन सबसे अच्छा बात था कि वो जो 4 फाइट्स मुझे जीतना था, उन लोगों ने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से लाइक फाइट्स को लाइक डिवाइड कर रखा था. लाइक एक दिन में यू हैव टू फाइट मैक्सिमम ऑफ 2 टाइम्स. तो ये बहुत ही अच्छा था. लाइक अगर तुम लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मॉर्निंग में फाइट कर रहे हो, देन यू हैव योर नेक्स्ट फाइट विल बी आफ्टर लाइक 5 to 6 hours, so you get sufficient amount of rest. It was not like कि अभी फाइट किया फिर आधे घंटे 1 घंटे बाद फिर से फाइट है, क्योंकि MMA में बहुत इंजरी भी होती है. ऑब्वियसली तुम्हारा लाइक तुमको रेस्ट भी चाहिए होता है, तो वैसा रेस्ट था. बिटवीन अ कपल ऑफ फाइट्स देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम फॉर ए पर्सन टू लाइक रीएडजस्ट, लाइक टू गेट अगेन इन दैट मेंटल स्पेस फॉर फाइटिंग. यू नीड सम टाइम लाइक 5-6 hours था. सो लाइक मेरा भी वैसा ही हुआ था. पहले 2 दिन मेरी सिंगल फाइट हुई और फाइनल में मेरा 2 फाइट हुआ, लेकिन मेरे को लाइक एनफ टाइम मिल रहा था रिकवर करने के लिए. बाकी उनका मैनेजमेंट भी बहुत अच्छा है, तो लाइक सब स्मूथली गया और लाइक बहुत अच्छा था.
Well, that's amazing, because like so once again I have to congratulate you from our side, because fighting 4 times 2 दिन में 3 दिन में भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. and winning a contract where I know, क्योंकि मैंने पहला MFN Contender Series देखा था, उस पर इतनी भीड़ नहीं थी, and इस वाले में इतने सारे fighters came from across the country, because this is becoming more and more popular. So congratulations on that. And yeah, before we end, like I just wanted to know about what your plans are moving forward.
Yeah, so my initial plan was to fight like 3 pro fights this year. For some reason it didn't happen. Like मैंने जैसा लाइक शेड्यूल बना रखा था उस हिसाब से हुआ नहीं कुछ चीज़. तो बट लाइक एक प्रो फाइट तो लाइक बिफोर एंड ऑफ द ईयर लाइक मुझे करना है, तो वो मैं करूँगा. बट द नेक्स्ट ईयर आई एम प्लानिंग टू फाइट 4 to 5 times. आई एम ट्राइंग टू स्टे एक्टिव, बिकॉज I want to like get my record up soon.
Yeah, so all the best, from our side, Jyoti. Like we hope to see you in action soon, and we hope to have a conversation with you whenever your next fight or your first professional fight is booked. And in the meantime, we wish you all the best. Hope you can train hard and no injuries and no issues come up. And hopefully we see you fight again. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, David.